What's up, guys, and welcome back to another PLC podcast, Phillies Ladders and Chairs. This is episode 4. In today's podcast, we're going to be discussing with you guys the top WWE wrestlers that we think are underutilized within the company. So we each have about 3 wrestlers we're going to go over and tell you why we think they are underutilized. So I'm gonna start things off. My first person I have is Carmelo Hayes. I think he is underutilized heavily within the company. He was great in his time at NXT, NXT champion. Whether he was a heel or face, I thought he was really good. His whole cocky persona, um, in my opinion, is amazing. I think he does great work. He's one of the best on the mic for the younger generation of WWE superstars, and he just hasn't had much to do on the main roster. He's been on almost every SmackDown since he's been called up, but he was in the U.S. title picture one time where he was in that match with LA Knight and Andrade, which was a banger of a match. But after that, he's just kind of not done anything. He's had pointless matches with guys like Tozawa and Braun Strowman that just doesn't really do anything for his character. So I definitely think that he needs to be booked better in the near future. And, in the United States title scene, we just saw Shinsuke Nakamura have an awful title run for about 2 months or so. um, you know, put the title on Carmelo Hayes. I actually thought that they should have put the title on him at Crown Jewel when they had the triple threat. I thought he was the perfect person to beat LA Knight for the championship, and maybe it can still happen in the near future. But he is definitely underutilized. He does great heel work, and he would just make an excellent United States champion.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. A guy like Carmelo Hayes highlights a problem that has been a problem that was definitely a problem in the Vince McMahon era. There's still a problem now. I think they're bringing up these guys from NXT without a plan. They bring up Carmelo Hayes, but they do not have a plan for him. So they just kind of bring him up, hope it works out, and never does. And then it's like you have a guy who's really talented, really good, but he's not doing anything, and it's hard for the fans to take him seriously when he's in pointless matches. He should be in the United States title picture. Why LA Knight beat Shinsuke again? Don't get me wrong, it was a cool moment. We were there, but that could have been Carmelo Hayes. I know heel versus heel isn't always great, but I don't know. I definitely agree with you. I do think he is being underutilized for sure. Someone that I think is being underutilized is the guy we were just talking about, Shinsuke Nakamura. I feel bad for Shinsuke Nakamura. He's been there for, I think, 9 years now. When I say there, I mean WWE, main roster for 8 years. And it's like he's almost there. He was in that 2017. Looked like maybe he's going to be WWE champion. Then he almost killed John Cena in that one match on SmackDown. And that didn't happen. Then he won the Royal Rumble, and then he kind of had a whatever match against AJ Styles. And current day, even though he was just the United States champion, like you said, Brendan, he did not have a good title reign at all. He was just kind of lurking in the shadows, literally, like in the background of segments. You just kind of see him that really never went anywhere. And then LA Knight beat him a few weeks ago. I really don't know what they're doing with Shinsuke, to be honest. He is so talented. He is such a great wrestler. One thing he isn't, though, is he's not like this automatic dream match machine that people think he is. I feel like sometimes the way I take it is if he's in a match that he kind of feels like the company doesn't care about, he doesn't care about either. And he just kind of goes in there, he doesn't, like, if you watch him against Sami Zayn at NXT TakeOver Dallas 9 years ago at this point, like, he gives his all. If you see him against some of his matches against AJ Styles, he gives his all. Like, when Shinsuke is motivated, he's one of the best wrestlers in the world. So if they give him good stuff, which they have not been, he can be one of the best guys in the WWE, but he's being underutilized. I don't know if they even have plans for him going into WrestleMania right now.
Yeah, I don't think they do either. I don't think he'll be on the card. It's crazy to see how much he's fallen since his debut. His debut was one of the best debuts of all time. Um, just the crazy pop that he had, and like the last few years, just like jobbing out pretty much. Like that point where he was losing to, like, Cody Rhodes in that feud like every time last year around WrestleMania time. Um, he's just been losing and losing and losing. Then he went away. He comes back. He gets this whole new look, which I think everyone was excited for. I felt like we're going to get an interesting Shinsuke Nakamura again. They put the title on him, so you're thinking, okay, they have big plans for him. You put a title on a guy, and I don't think, cut an in-ring promo. Once he was just hiding, like you said, hiding in the backstage area behind people. And like you hold the title for 2 months, he didn't have a feud with a single person that wasn't LA Knight. What's the point of putting the title on him if you're not going to give him fresh feuds with like Jimmy Uso, um, just other baby faces in the mid card, Andrade. Um, they just really fumbled his title reign, and I really don't think they have any plans for him in the future. I hope that he isn't, a guy that's going to get released by the company. Um, but I think that, whether we want to say it or not, it's a possibility.
No, yeah, I agree. I'm gonna kind of answer both of them at the same time, Carmelo and Shinsuke, because I think they're in the same boat, but in different ends of their like careers. Carmelo can still has time. He's young. He just isn't like he's experienced, but he isn't as experienced as Shinsuke, because obviously Shinsuke's been doing this for 20, 30 years. And I think Carmelo Hayes is what, 30, 31, somewhere
No,
around.
he is younger than that. He's in his 20s.
Okay, so he's younger than even probably Shinsuke's been wrestling almost. I know Shinsuke's early 40s, mid 40s, somewhere in his 40s. I saw online that some people saying it looks like Pete said, he's just going through the motion now. Like he's just getting the job done. Whatever they ask him, he's gonna do. Like it's not a bad match, but it's nothing exciting. And I can't say he's past his prime because it might be like what Pete said. He just may not be feeling it anymore. He just may be like, oh, I know I'm gonna get paid well. I'm experienced. I know how to wrestle without injuring myself or my opponent. I'm gonna wrestle till my contract expires, and I'll either retire or go back to New Japan where he made his name at. Carmelo Hayes, same boat. I just feel like you should put him in the title picture. Same with Shinsuke, and I just hope the rumored ladder match they do something. One of them could come out winning it. Even if they don't win it, at least hopefully after Mania they could at least get something interesting. I do find some of the stuff that Carmelo Hayes does with the Miz funny, but I don't know if that's Carmelo Hayes or that's more the Miz just being the Miz. But for my first person, I have an interest in one because he's a Hall of Famer, legend, but it's Rey Mysterio. He kind of just loses all the time now. Like, I know it's all about giving it back, but Rey is a unique character. Like you can argue, besides like John Cena, Hulk Hogan, Stone Cold, all around the world, no one may be more as popular as Rey Mysterio. 'Cause you say Luchador and everyone thinks Rey Mysterio, and I think he just turned 50. Like I know he said he doesn't have that many years left, probably one or two. I'm not saying push him with the title. Give him an interesting feud. Like, please don't do another Dominic Mysterio match because it was funny the first time. Okay, the second time, then it's just like, come on. But just give Ray a good match. He can obviously still wrestle pretty good. I mean, for his age, he's not what he used to be, but he's not bad at all. Just put him in something interesting. Make it like one last run, and maybe give him a mid card title. I don't know. Like I don't know if you guys remember this. He was great with the IC title. He had a few matches with Chris Jericho back in the day, which were amazing. I've always liked Ray. I've never met anyone that really has never liked Ray, and I feel like if you just give him like one, it doesn't have to be like a main event feud, but like one like great feud to be like, do I still have it anymore? Is it like I want to say mask for something and he loses his mask, but he's a Hall of Famer. I feel like just stop making him lose. Like they just do that. He's a legend. You just beat a legend like story. Like that's fine. Seems like a great guy, but and probably has no issue with it. But I just feel like you should give that legend one more like top interesting story.
Yeah, so I wanted to get into that now that you mentioned. He should definitely have at least one more great feud, and I think that's going to be with Penta. At least I think it should be a heel Penta versus babyface Rey Mysterio. I thought they were potentially going to do it at this year's WrestleMania, but it's obviously not going to happen. So maybe next year, or they can, it could be Rey's retirement match against Penta. I think that would be like awesome if they did that. But I do agree with you. They throw him into too many boring feuds that nobody cares about. Like he's been feuding with like the Judgment Day and Dom, the New Day, and like Chad and American Made. Like it's just been constant and just boring. It's just like and I get it. They want him in the LWO to help the younger guys that maybe aren't going to have as much success as single superstars. But I think it's kind of pointless. I think the LWO is just boring. I'd like to see Ray as himself again, and hopefully we get that in the near future, and we get him versus Penta in a big WrestleMania match because I think that would be awesome.
Yeah. I definitely disagree. Or I definitely agree. I don't disagree. The Rey Mysterio is underutilized for sure. I mean, he's a legend. Do I think he should be competing for the WWE Championship? No, but he could definitely be in much more interesting storylines than what he is right now. He's just in these short couple week feuds with other tag teams with the LWO, and I just really don't find that interesting at all. There's a post that I saw from, I want to say it was Matthew from Botchamania, that said it's very interesting how throughout the years WWE has always tried to look for the next Rey Mysterio, such as like Sin Cara, Kalisto. They always look for the new Rey Mysterio, and the new Rey Mysterio always ends up being Rey Mysterio. Like none of those guys ever pan out. That's why I actually think it's good that Penta said he's trying to be the first Penta, not the next
Yeah.
Rey Mysterio. Um, but I mean, Rey Mysterio could have had maybe a feud with Gunther just for a pay per view, for the World Heavyweight Championship. Like, give him something. Like, they can definitely do way more with him for sure.
100%. Yeah. The next person that I think is very underutilized is Andrade. Andrade came back at the Royal Rumble last year. Got a pretty decent pop as well. But they really have not done much with him in the year of 2025. Um, I think he was in the Money in the Bank match, right?
I think so.
Yes.
I think, yeah. So, they put him in there. I think he had a few great spots in that match as well. Off the ladder. I think him and Carmelo Hayes was one of those spots. They had him in the United States title picture as well. Like I was talking about earlier with Carmelo Hayes and LA Knight, they had that triple threat match, and they did Andrade versus LA Knight, and they were doing a good job of mixing him in with the mid card. But ever since the year has started, 2025, like he's just barely been on TV. Like he's had like a few backstage segments with like the Miz. Like why are we not getting Andrade matches on TV is beyond me. The guy's an unbelievable talent. He left AEW because they weren't utilizing him, and he was going to get utilized more in WWE, and that just has not happened at all. They've done such a poor job with his booking, not including him in the United States title picture, which he belongs in, and rarely giving him any screen time, and then having a match every once in a while. That's just not good enough. And they definitely need to do a better job with Andrade going forward.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Andrade is kind of like a sad story because he was in AEW. They weren't doing anything with him. He was the man in NXT back in the day. And then he came into the main roster, and I remember him and Rey Mysterio were having like really good matches. I remember on SmackDown like every week back in the day, and I was like, okay, this dude's gonna be something. And then I want to say he got released for WWE, went to AEW, didn't really do anything, came back like you said. I thought he was gonna do a lot of really big things. He was gonna be utilized much better in WWE. That has not happened. He's very talented. They could definitely do a lot with him. It seems like they had the formula on how to properly book him in NXT back in the day. I don't know why that doesn't like usual that doesn't translate to the main roster. I really don't understand why. Um, but yeah, I definitely agree that Andrade is not being utilized.
No, yeah, I wouldn't even mind seeing him back in NXT because I feel like Shawn Michaels would know how to use him because he gets the best out of everyone. And like Brennan said, I think he's one of the better, if not top 10 in ring wrestlers in the company. Like when you give him a chance, when you give him time, he puts on great shows. I can't even tell you how many times he's been on TV besides the backstage segments. I don't know if they're just trying to wait for after Mania, but why would you bring him in and put him on TV then? You guys brought up most of the points I was going to bring up, but like I said, I would love to see him just put on a great match after great match like he always does. But yeah, that's how I feel about Andrade. I can't even say his name. I'm butchering his name, but yeah. The next person I want to talk about is actually Rey Mysterio's son, and I don't think he's underutilized, but I think he can be used in a better / different way. Dominic Mysterio. I think we all can agree we love Dominic. He's funny. Like he's great. I just want him in a title picture. I'm not saying the main one, but like I know he's with the Liv Morgan and Judgment Day, but I don't know. I feel like he's such a great wrestler and he doesn't get to show it because he loses most of his matches and also he just like distracts for Liv or calls someone in Judgment Day. But I don't know. I've always liked Dominic Mysterio. I think he's an underrated wrestler. I like him with Liv. It's funny, but when is it going to get to the point of getting old? But yeah, I just think maybe put him in like a title mid card, or I want to be opposed to NXT, but I don't think you should at this point. Just let him build himself and build him. At least let him win more matches.
Yeah, I agree with everything you just said. He definitely loses way too much, to be honest with you guys. But I have a sneaky hot take going into WrestleMania. So we all just saw Penta versus Braun, and then Finn interfering in the match. Or no, Dom interfering in the match, and then Finn coming out and beating down on Braun and Penta. I think that's going to lead to a fatal four-way at WrestleMania, and I think the way they're going to do this is maybe Finn Balor hits the coup de grace on Finn or on Braun Breaker at WrestleMania. Looks like he's going to win the title, get out of this huge drought that he's in, and then Dom throws him out of the ring, and Dom pins Braun to become the Intercontinental Champion. That's my sneaky hot take for WrestleMania. I think that would be awesome. I could also see Braun retaining at WrestleMania, but I think this would get a pop. Like, it would be one of those unexpected things. And they've done a lot of unexpected things recently, especially just on like SmackDown and stuff with title changes. So I would not doubt if Triple H did this. I could definitely see him pull the trigger on this. And I think Dom would make an excellent Intercontinental Champion.
Yeah. Yeah, no. So I agree with what Jake said. I do think Dominic Mysterio should be utilized in a different way, and I do think he will be competing for the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania in a Fatal 4-Way. I think he's gonna win. I think it's gonna be basically him turning on Finn. But I also think now I don't know what we consider Braun Breaker right now as terms of a heel or a face. I guess he's more of a heel
Kind of
than a
twin.
face. But I think Dominic Mysterio throwing Finn Balor out of the ring, pinning Braun Breaker to become the new Intercontinental Champion would be a great way to turn Braun Breaker face if the next night on Raw, Braun Breaker just beats the living shit out of Dominic Mysterio. Just fucks him up, destroys him, and then challenges him for the belt maybe at the next pay-per-view. I think that would turn Braun Breaker completely into a face. If that's what they want to do. I don't know if that's the direction they're going in. But yeah, no, I definitely agree with everything said. Before I go to my next person that thinks being underutilized, what do you think? What do you guys think about that?
I think I like it. But yeah, I feel like there's many different ways you could go with it. But yeah, I think it would be a very interesting thing.
Yeah. We were talking about in the last video about how WWE doesn't have any young baby faces. And I like Braun as a heel, but I think Braun works excellent as a babyface. When he was doing his work with Baron Corbin in NXT, he was a good babyface. So that would be a good way to turn him into a babyface after WrestleMania, and then get closer to putting him in the world title picture as well.
Yeah. Next person I'm going to talk about is Drew McIntyre, who is one of those guys where he's not really being underutilized, but he's not being utilized properly. He was in the best feud, the feud of the year last year with CM Punk. And it sucks how like CM Punk now is doing a bunch of big stuff. Probably is going to main event WrestleMania, it looks like, or at least in a high profile match at WrestleMania. Drew McIntyre is not. Damian Priest, Brendan's favorite wrestler, Damian Priest, is cool, don't get me wrong, but Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre doesn't scream, oh my god, high profile WrestleMania match. It's funny in a way though, because my first thought is because the rumor was Drew McIntyre was pissed off and like stormed out about having to do this match. This instantly reminded me of CM Punk being pissed off that he had to wrestle Triple H at WrestleMania 30. They're obviously handling that differently. Drew McIntyre's handling that differently than Punk did back then. But we talked about this in the last podcast we did. I think Drew should beat Damian fairly quickly and then immediately move on to something else more high profile. I thought they were going to do Drew versus Roman, to be honest, at WrestleMania. That's what I thought they were going with, the whole Bloodline Hunter thing. I thought that's where they were going, and that would have been good because he deserves something like that. So, yeah, I think Drew McIntyre is underutilized for sure.
Yeah, without a doubt, I agree. just really ever since WrestleMania, when he got cashed in on, just been a rough year from other than the CM Punk feud. That was a great feud, but like him getting pinned by Damian Priest, my favorite wrestler,
Mhm.
countless times. It's just ridiculous. He's way better than that. I get it was for storyline, but like I don't know. I wanted to see a Drew world title run over the summer, rather than Priest holding it for as long as he did. And now, being thrown into this WrestleMania program with Priest when he could have been fighting Roman. If he wasn't fighting Roman, he could be fighting Punk, Roman, and Seth in a fatal four-way. I think everyone would have been fine with that. We said that before. Um, it's kind of annoying. And I hope that, the best case scenario that we can hope for is that this leads to a big push. Like, okay, just work Damian Priest at WrestleMania, make him look good, but Drew McIntyre needs to win that match. Make Priest look good, but Priest should not win that match. That would be ridiculous, and that would bury Drew McIntyre. But if Drew, makes him look good, wins the match, and then gets a huge push in the summer, and I potentially, I said before that he could potentially be a King of the Ring winner and then become world champion at SummerSlam. So I think that would be, best case scenario for Drew McIntyre.
I think what's impressive about Drew is he keeps evolving. If you really think about it, like obviously when he first came to WWE, he was out as the chosen one. That didn't work out. Left, came back, won the title as a face. Everyone loved him. Turned heel, and now he's turned into this top heel in the company. And to be honest, I don't want it to happen, but in a few months, years, whatever, you turn him back face. I don't want it. But I feel like you could even get him to do that again because everyone just loves him. Like I said, like you said, Damien should win. I mean, not Damien, that Drew. That would have been something. Drew needs to win, and I hope they have something planned for him because he sacrificed so much. Um, he should have a title right now, or at least in the past year. Honestly, 2 years out, he should have had a title. Well, he technically did, but a long title reign, not just for 5 minutes. And he puts on great matches. You believe everything he does. He can be funny, but he can also flip that switch when he's mad and be a monster. So yeah, hopefully they have something planned out, and hopefully even it would even annoy me if he it would annoy me so much if he wins, but like he doesn't look like a dominant drill like Damien get like it's like you just squeaked by or something. But yeah, I Drew's amazing. I hope they have something planned and ready for him after Mania.
Yeah. The last person that I think is heavily underutilized within the company, and it hurts me to say, is Finn Balor. His booking has just been atrocious. You know, to think that this was the guy in 2016 that was the most over superstar in the company, you could argue, with his Demon King persona, winning the first ever Universal Champion at SummerSlam, championship at SummerSlam against Seth Rollins in what was a great match, and then obviously has to vacate the title the next night. And said he was going to come back for the title. He had a few matches. He had that one with Roman as the Demon that he lost, and just never won the title back. Never won a world title since then. And his booking under Triple H has just not been good. Um, you know, Triple H does a lot of good things with the company. He books a lot of superstars good, but Finn Balor is not one of them. He really struggles to book Finn Balor, and I think he should not be in the Judgment Day. I don't think it's done anything for his character, if we're being totally honest. He's just been boring, and he's been losing and losing and losing and losing. He even gained the nickname Pin Balor. The guy just loses match after match, title match after title match. They had Damian Priest turn on him, or him turn on Damian Priest, I should say. And I thought that was the start of something big. I was like, okay, now we're going to get a big Finn Balor push going into 2025. And boy, was I absolutely wrong. Um, not only did he lose the match at Bad Blood to Damian Priest, he would go on to lose to him again in their last match that they had, not getting one win over Priest after that, heel turn, which was one of the best moments of SummerSlam. They have just completely fumbled him. Um, and I hope that after WrestleMania, like if the thing I said happens, Dom screws Finn out of the match. Maybe we don't see Finn for a while, and Finn comes back as the Demon. We've been saying that and keep wishing for it. It hasn't happened. So who knows if it'll actually happen? But I really hope that we can get at least one more Finn Balor world title run, because it's been a shame the way he's just been booked over these last couple of years.
Yeah. I definitely agree with you. Finn Balor is one of those guys who I thought when he got injured in 2016 after winning the Universal Championship, I thought when he comes back, he was going to be a main event guy. And he just never returned to that scene. He had a few Intercontinental Championship reigns, I think, or at least he was in that title picture. But he's never won a world title ever again. It doesn't look like he's on that road. It just, at this point, it's not going to happen for him. I think I don't know how he personally feels. Maybe he's kind of like, all right, I've done my hard work, and I'm just gonna do my money work, make some money. I'm living good, it's whatever. But I definitely think he's being underutilized. I definitely think he's one of those guys that could have been in the main event scene. I think that time has passed, or at least the way they handled the Damian Priest thing and the Damian Priest leaving the Judgment Day, I definitely think that could have been handled much differently. And at this point, I agree with you. I think he should no longer be in the Judgment Day. Possibly a feud with Dom. The only thing is, do you do heel Finn versus not a face Dom? So then it would be face Finn. I don't know.
The thing is also with that is if they do that, it doesn't put Finn back in the main event scene whatsoever. No. So it's just like it's so hard. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it's been like it has been since he's got injured. Everyone's asking for. He doesn't like. We wanted him to win the title. Wanted him to be main event, but now it's legit. Just make him interesting. Like Finn, I think a year or two ago, maybe last year, signed a new contract. So it's probably one of his final contracts. I don't know how long. I think it was 3 to 5 years. I mean, I saw there was talk on social media that now when he comes out, it's not even a reaction. Like no one really cares, which is it's so sad to see. Because when NXT was amazing, New Japan, amazing, first came out amazing. He had the Demon, but you also got to remember they even ruined the Demon a little bit. 'Cause he lost to Roman by legit some mystery person cutting the rope. If you remember that, and then he lost to Edge in a steel cage, which I know it's. Yeah, I know those 2 matches that, like, okay, they're both main event stars, but the Demon's supposed to be unstoppable. Like, you could kind of build it back, but, like, it's going to take so long, especially since the Demon only pops up. How long's it been since Edge, probably? I don't think
that was the last time.
So, like, it's once every, like, now 3 years, 4 years, however long it's been. Finn's still one of the most consistent and reliable wrestler, so that's never a question. He's not like he's dropping off. Seems like he's still giving effort, but it also seems like he might be playing it safe. He seems happy. He's come out a million times and said he's happy with his position. Hopefully they give him something, but I feel like out of all the people we talked about, this is the one that probably isn't going to change the most, either him or Shinsuke. And probably the next one who I'm going to bring up, Sheamus. It's going to be brief. Can we just get Sheamus on TV? He puts on amazing matches. He somehow gets better with age. He just, after Mania last year, he came back. Still was putting on great matches. I know it's been 2 or 3 years. He put on those amazing matches with Drew and Gunther, and even the triple threat was amazing. Also, can we just give him the IC title so we can have it? It feels like it's been forever of him being close and not getting it. Every time he's on now, he's constantly either the best match or the second best match on the card. And yeah, and now I think he has more of a back, and since his YouTube channel has become pretty popular, you can just connect to him as like a fun-loving guy, like this monster, but he's pretty fun-loving and laid back. Like you just like to get behind the guy. Like I don't know, I don't think he's ever gonna be the main event again, but like I would love it upper, like what Randy Orton is doing is what I would love Sheamus to do. Just like he established name. You can't take him too seriously. He'll win his matches. Maybe a little less than Randy, because Sheamus will probably win a mid card. I don't think Randy ever will again for the most part. But it's just somewhere around that Randy Orton range where you take him seriously just because of his legend, but he could still win a match or title if he needs to.
Yeah, I agree. I like the fact that Sheamus has been putting over and helping younger talent like Ludwig Kaiser and Pete Dunne, which is the main programs he's been thrown in over the last several months. And he had a Intercontinental title feud with Braun Breaker as well. There's been this looming, thing that's like, when is Sheamus gonna finish his story and become the IC champion, the Grand Slam champion? And everyone was thinking it's gonna be this year, it's gonna be WrestleMania 41, and now it seems like that is not the case. Because we mentioned that the Fatal 4-Way is probably going to happen with Braun, Penta, Dom, and Finn, or some sort of that match. But I don't even know if Sheamus is going to have a WrestleMania match, which is crazy because I think Sheamus did some really good work when he returned after WrestleMania 40, putting over guys like Kaiser, Pete Dunne, Braun Breaker. Um, he's done an excellent job of that. And him not being on TV for over a month, it's just a crime. Like, everyone loves Sheamus. Sheamus is such a beloved babyface, and they ruined his theme song, giving him a generic Ireland Def Rebel theme song. It's another thing that just hurts Sheamus's character. But yeah, I definitely want to see Sheamus become the Intercontinental Champion, and just have like better feuds. And I know he's working the mid card, but I want to see Sheamus in a really intriguing feud, whether that's with Braun Breaker again or whoever. I just want to see him have a better feud and win that Intercontinental Championship.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you guys. It took me a while to become a fan of Sheamus, but I've definitely been a fan of his last couple years. It's kind of insane that he might not have anything going into WrestleMania this year. That's kind of nuts. I hope that isn't the case, but that's what it looks like. But I definitely think it'd be cool to see him win the Intercontinental Championship. All right, so the last person / group that I have that I believe is underutilized is Uncle Howdy, but you could just say the whole Wyatt Six. What are we doing? I was so excited for the Wyatt Six. They're having the vignettes and the QR codes. I was very excited. And then they debuted, and I was like, holy shit, let's go. This is awesome. And then they did nothing. They did nothing with them, really. The thing with Chad Gable didn't really go anywhere. The thing with Final Testament didn't really go anywhere. I thought that they were going to bring in the Wyatts, have Uncle Howdy / Bo Dallas do a lot of really cool stuff. And I thought that the end goal was going to have Bo Dallas just wrestling as himself. Like, I thought they were going to do some cool stuff that eventually tell the story of who Bo Dallas is, how heartbroken he is that he lost his brother, and then that the story was eventually going to end as Bo Dallas just wrestling as himself. But they're just not on TV ever. They're just never on TV. I don't know where they're at. I don't know what they're doing.
No, yeah,
So
I think Bray was not Bray. Bo was injured, I think.
Yeah.
And
That's
the
what the rumor is.
only rumor I saw, which gives me hope. Apparently, they're gonna put Alexa Bliss with them after Mania.
She hasn't been on TV either.
No, yes, I guess
She's another one we could have said, yeah.
Yeah, she's missing Mania, but I still have hope. Like, I hope it was just the injury was bad timing, like Punk's was. Yeah, the presentation when they first came on was amazing. Like, everyone was interested. Like, even if I missed Raw, the first thing I'm looking up is what did they do, like, just to watch. I think Bo and the whole group, they're one of those groups where none of them need a title. Because, like, what are you going to do? They're unstoppable. Like, you can't put a title on them. So I just hope they can get back to what they were doing to begin with. Alexa Bliss, I think, is going to be an amazing fit. Obviously, she's had past experience with the Wyatts with Bray, and she did a good job with it. And it seems like they kept her in that style with the doll and how she's acting. And everyone loves Alexa Bliss, and everyone loves the Wyatt Six. And I didn't even mean the rhyme, but that did. But I hopefully, and it sounds like they will, get back to form.
Yeah. The Bo Dallas injury is definitely hurting the group. We haven't seen them on TV in months. But even before the injury, when they were on TV, it wasn't good stuff. Like you were talking about, Pete, with the American Made feud, it just wasn't that intriguing. The Final Testament feud wasn't good with the Miz. And then they had them actually put over the Final Testament, which I don't know why you're doing that with a group that just debuted, that had all this hype to lose to Karrion Kross and AOP. AOP is not even with the company anymore, and they put over them. I don't understand that at all. The hype before they debuted was awesome. Like the vignettes, like you were saying, leading to those websites. Like I was so intrigued. I was like so excited for the debut. And when it actually happened, the debut was a 10 out of 10, 11 out of 10, if you will. It was awesome the way they did that, making it look like Chad Gable got shot in the head. Like that was cool. And then that was the main event, and the final picture was just them all standing together with the lantern. And then Bo saying like we're here. That was awesome. That set them up for something great, and then it just completely plummeted. Thing about Bray Wyatt is, he was always able to tell a really good story, and they always put him in programs with main event guys. So Uncle Howdy feuding with like the Miz and Chad Gable and Karrion Kross, nobody's gonna be too interested in that. And it was the same shtick like every week where the lights would go out, the music would hit, they would be surrounding the ring, and then attack them. It was kind of just over and over again. It was repeated. I hope that, right now during this injury, they're taking advantage of how can we book them better going into the near future. I don't think that they're going to have a WrestleMania program. It's way too close to that. Maybe Raw after WrestleMania, we get the return. But I just hope they come with something more planned for them. Because, I think they have a lot of potential as a group. And Bo Dallas definitely has a lot of potential as a single superstar. So, yeah, I hope that they can book them better after WrestleMania when they return. All right, guys, that's going to do it for the PLC podcast episode 4. If you guys like this video, make sure to like and subscribe. Our TikTok is PLC _podcast. If you guys want to go follow that, we post short clips there from these podcasts and some other things. So yeah, guys, that's going to do it for the video, and we'll see you next time.